In early March, Edinburgh witnessed the beginning of what would become a sweeping wave of gang violence. The first known incident occurred in the Parrotschot area, where a car was set on fire. This attack marked the start of a series of increasingly violent retaliations that would spread far beyond the capital. Just 4 days later, another arson attack took place, this time targeting a beauty salon in Lyons. The salon was reportedly run by the partner of Mark Richardson, a well-known figure in Edinburgh's criminal underworld. At the time, Richardson was serving time in isolation at HMP Low Moss for his involvement in a massive criminal enterprise worth an estimated $200 million. His past affiliations and influence made him a central figure in what was unfolding. Authorities believe that Richardson became a target following a botched drug deal worth approximately £500,000. One of his associates is alleged to have used counterfeit money in the transaction, sparking the fury of rival gang members. The result was swift and brutal. Properties linked to Richardson and his circle were targeted in an apparent campaign of retribution. On March 11th, the father of Richardson's partner, Stephen Dignan, saw his storage facility in East Lothian set ablaze. Merely 5 days later, Dignan's home and business on Milton Road East in Portobello also came under attack. The violence took a deadly turn when, on March 20th, gunfire erupted outside a residence on Marshall Crescent in Niddry, believed to be the home of Richardson associate Paddy Petson. That same night, another shooting was reported at a property on West Pilton Bank, again linked to one of Richardson's allies. As the attacks intensified, footage began circulating online. The videos, often set to music like Martha and the Vandellas' Nowhere to Run, included direct warnings to anyone associated with Mark Richardson. These brazen displays of violence alarmed both the public and law enforcement. On April 1st, armed police launched a series of raids across Edinburgh. 4 individuals were arrested, and a number of items, including a Range Rover, were seized. Officers appealed for community assistance, emphasizing the severity and recklessness of the crimes. Police suggested that a former member of a Rangers football hooligan group, now living a luxury lifestyle in Dubai, may be orchestrating the attacks. His identity is protected for legal reasons, but he is believed to have ordered the campaign after feeling betrayed by Richardson's associates. After the April 1st raids, authorities conducted further operations in Edinburgh and Musselburgh with the support of Scotland's Organised Crime Division. More weapons, drugs, and cash were confiscated, and 2 individuals were charged with drug offenses. The bloodshed moved west. In the early hours of April 4th, a house in Hay Drive, Niddry, was firebombed. A day earlier, another property in Cornwall Gardens in Glasgow's Rob-Royston area was also deliberately set on fire. That same week, a building in Kirkintilloch associated with the Daniel crime family was torched, with attackers posting footage online set to Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire. By April 7th, 3 more homes linked to the Daniels were targeted within hours of each other. Properties in Gala Street, Ashgill Road, and Meadow Court in Steps were all set alight during the night. On April 8th, a carpet business in Bishopbriggs connected to Craig Rob Roy Gallagher, an ally of both Richardson and the Daniel clan, was also set on fire. The attackers uploaded a video with the Prodigy's Fire Starter playing in the background, accompanied by another ominous warning. The campaign grew more disturbing. On April 14th, a 72-year-old woman and a 12-year-old boy linked to the Daniels were assaulted in their home in Glasgow's Milton area. A fresh video followed, continuing the trend of using music and captions to threaten gang rivals. That same day, 2 additional homes were firebombed in Bishopbriggs, again connected to the Daniel family. The video of these attacks was paired with the Spencer Davis Group's Keep On Running. Law enforcement officials condemned the acts as cowardly and reiterated that those responsible would be held accountable. They confirmed the incidents were targeted and part of an ongoing feud between rival criminal organizations. Police also acknowledged the disturbing impact of the glamorized videos being shared online. Among the most chilling attacks was the firebombing of a luxury home in Edinburgh owned by David Macmillan. a known associate of both Richardson and the Daniel crime family. The incident occurred in the early morning hours, with children reportedly inside the house at the time. Two masked individuals are believed to have poured accelerant on the front door before setting it alight and fleeing. This attack coincided with the 6th anniversary of the murder of Macmillan's close friend, Bradley Welsh, a former boxer and actor in Trainspotting 2. Macmillan himself had previously been targeted in a machete attack by hitman Sean Orman, suffering a fractured skull. Weeks later, Welsh was shot dead at his home in Edinburgh's Newtown. Orman was convicted and sentenced to 10 years for the machete assault, and at least 28 years for Welsh's murder. Macmillan's house was the 5th connected to the Richardson or Daniel clans to be targeted that week alone, underlining the intensity and coordination of the ongoing turf war. As April progressed, gangland violence became a near-daily occurrence. Police Scotland assured the public that every available resource was being used to bring the perpetrators to justice. They highlighted the presence of visible patrols and undercover operations aimed at dismantling the groups responsible. Although figures like Stephen Bonzo Daniel temporarily left Scotland for Dubai in response to the violence, the attacks continued. Authorities stressed that the public should not accept this level of criminality as the norm, and that efforts to stop the bloodshed would not cease. With the conflict now spanning multiple cities and targeting not just criminals but their families, Scotland's ongoing gang war shows no signs of slowing. The battle for control of the lucrative drug trade continues to claim victims and set communities on edge as police race to contain the violence before more lives are lost. The Scottish gangland feuds does not stop there. On Saturday night, the 31st of May, a shocking shooting emerged involving 2 Scottish men who were gunned down in Spain. In a brutal act of gangland violence that has left locals and tourists in shock, Ross Monaghan and Eddie Lyons Jr., both high-ranking members of Scotland's notorious Lyons crime family, were killed outside an Irish pub in Fuengirola on the Costa del Sol. The attack happened just meters from the beach, turning a lively tourist area into a blood-soaked crime scene. Witnesses say a dark car pulled up outside Monaghan's Irish bar, and a masked gunman jumped out, firing multiple shots at the 2 men as they sat on the terrace. Panicked customers dove for cover as the gunfire echoed through the narrow streets. Emergency services arrived quickly, but both Monaghan and Lyons were pronounced dead at the scene. Graphic images have emerged showing a man believed to be Ross Monaghan lying lifeless, while police secured the scene and tried to calm terrified witnesses. Another photo shows paramedics huddled around a body covered by a white blanket as stunned tourists looked on. Both men were well known to UK police and were central figures in Glasgow's violent feud between the Lyons and Daniel's crime clans, a rivalry that has already claimed many lives. Monaghan, 40, had long been linked to the upper ranks of the Lyons organization. Back in 2012, he was acquitted of the high-profile murder of Kevin Gerbil Carroll, a feared enforcer for the rival Daniels clan, who was gunned down in an Asda car park in 2010. Monaghan's move to Spain in 2017 came after he survived a shooting in Glasgow. Fearing for his life, he fled to the Costa del Sol and opened his Irish bar in an attempt to blend in. Eddie Lyons Jr. was also no stranger to violence. In 2017, he and Monaghan were charged with a vicious street attack outside the Camp Bar in Bishopbriggs. However, the charges were dropped after just 2 days in court. The killings are believed to be part of a larger gangland war that has spilled from the streets of Glasgow to the shores of Spain. This latest eruption of violence is thought to be linked to the theft of a shipment of cocaine from Dubai-based crime boss Ross McGill, known as Mr. Big. McGill is said to have launched a brutal campaign of retaliation after the drugs went missing, using a shadowy group called Tomo Junto to carry out attacks across the UK. Spanish police, working with UK law enforcement, have launched a full investigation. They're reviewing CCTV footage and talking to witnesses in hopes of finding the masked gunman and his driver. So far, no arrests have been made. A spokesperson for the Guardia Civil described the murders as a targeted hit carried out by professionals, likely hired by powerful criminal figures. Meanwhile, police in Glasgow and Edinburgh are bracing for possible revenge attacks. Sources say the killings will almost certainly trigger more violence in Scotland's gangland underworld. Back in Fuengirola, the community is reeling. What was once a quiet Mediterranean getaway now bears the scars of organized crime. Tourists who witnessed the horror are heading home early, while locals worry about what might come next. A British expert said it's like something out of a gangster movie. No one suspected these men were involved in such dangerous activities. As the sun sets over the Costa del Sol, questions remain. Who ordered the hit? Who pulled the trigger? And when will the next act of violence erupt in this bloody feud that seems far from over? That is for our video today. As ever, I will keep everyone updated with Scottish gangland feuds as they develop, and I will see you on the next video.